What's going on, guys? Welcome back to BlackTideTV, bringing you the best of all things gaming Monday to Friday. Today we're back on Black Ops 3 with a new Golden Weapon review. Now, in the last Golden Weapon review, if you missed it, there will be a link in the description and the card in the top right corner. We talked about how we're diluting the script in these videos a little bit. We're making them a lot more casual. Instead of writing a full, elaborate university essay script, I'm just putting some jot notes in my script, and I'm just going to talk about these weapons. I'm going to tell you how I feel about them, and we're just going to kind of go through them and be super casual about it. This is how I wanted to start off this series, and we started getting really elaborate and really detailed, and I don't want to do that. I'm not going to claim that I go into the game code and get all these facts and stuff about the weapons. I just play the game and I figure this stuff out just by hand. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm going into the game code and doing all this crazy stuff to find out all these crazy facts about the weapons. I just want to make it seem as casual as it really is. So if you didn't see the last episode, I just wanted to make that clear in this video before we get started. Now, another thing that we did indeed do in the last video was we talked about the Twitter polls, which is something that I do after every Golden Weapon review. We post a new Twitter poll up on my Twitter page at BlackTideTV, and I ask you guys which Golden Weapon reviews you want to see next. And I got a lot of good feedback in that last video about that, because the video before, the poll never received any votes, and I was kind of upset about that, just because my Twitter page isn't doing as great as my YouTube page. My YouTube page, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers, whereas Twitter I only have like 100 followers. So I did get some great feedback in that last video, and I want to let you guys know that you guys can vote on the next Golden Weapon review in the comments section of the video, and you guys can let me know which weapon you want to see next in there. Now, of course, I did get some pretty good votes on the last one just because of all the talk about it. So we are doing the Weevil today. The next Golden Weapon review sometime next week will be on the KILLCAM 9 secondary, and then the next weapon in tier 3 of these weapons is the only tier 3 weapon left, and that will be the Gorgon. So those are the next 3 weapons in the Golden Weapon review series. However, I will be putting up a long post, a long poll on Twitter tonight, and the weapons that are going to be included in it are the SVG 100, the Vesper, the Argus, and the ICR 1. So if you guys want to vote on that over on my Twitter page, and if you want to vote in the comment section as well, if you wanted to vote on both and get like double the entries on which weapon you want to see next, I would totally be okay with that. But without further ado, I think we've talked a little bit too much at the beginning of this video, so let's get into this Weevil guide and just tell you guys a little bit about this crazy SMG. So the Weevil was one of my favorite guns in the beta. It was probably my favorite SMG in the beta for Black Ops 3. And it has received a few minor buffs and nerfs throughout its lifespan, including an increased 5-shot kill range in the most recent patch 1.09, I think it was, on PS4. So this weapon has been up and down in all kinds of crazy places. However, despite it being so prominent in the developer's eye, how much it's actually getting upgraded and downgraded all the time, despite how much they play with this weapon, it still isn't really great at anything. I mean, it's not good at anything, or it's not bad at anything, but it's not really amazing at anything either. It's pretty much good in all categories, and it doesn't specialize in anything. So it's kind of an interesting weapon like that, and it's going to actually give me a much broader topic to talk about today. I have a lot to talk about for this Weevil, just because it's so average, it's so broad that I can talk and tell you guys of 2 kind of different ways to use this weapon, which we're going to get into in a minute. So apart from one thing, everything on this gun is average. That one thing being its magazine size. Except, its magazine size is great. Everything else, the damage, the range, the fire rate, the reload speed, the accuracy, it's all kind of smack dab in the middle of any other gun in the game. It's kind of the exact average weapon in this game. So, like I'm saying, it's not really good at anything other than having a lot of bullets. So how are we going to use this weapon? If it's only good, like really good at having a lot of bullets, how can we actually use that in our class and in our playstyle? How's that going to work for us? So what you're going to want to do with this weapon is use the 1 major strength to your advantage. This weapon has a stock magazine size of 50 bullets. That's crazy for an SMG. That's a lot of bullets. It's the same as the PDW from Black Ops 2. I think it was called the PDW, the SMG that a lot of people ran, and it was really good because it had all those bullets, except the PDW had a little bit better a little bit better. It was better in a lot of different other things. However, its main use was having those 50 bullets. You could spam that thing like crazy and you could have a really good time. You could kill a lot of enemies before you had to reload. Same idea with this weapon. You're going to want to use your magazine size to the most of your ability. So it's really great for spray and pray gameplay. That's quite the alliteration. Engaging multiple enemies at once or in turn, as long as you're accurate enough that you're not going to waste all of the 50 bullets on the first guy. And it's also really great at wall banging enemies. So let's talk specifics. Game modes, you're going to want to play some Ground War. That's what I'm playing in this video, I do believe. And there's no better SMG to use in Ground War than the Weevil. The Weevil is absolutely the best SMG in Ground War, hands down. Its massive magazine size allows you to actually attack like those enemies when you're engaging those 3 extra enemies that are on the other team. That huge magazine size is going to be so helpful. You're going to be able to engage more enemies, especially if you're playing objective modes in Ground War. You're going to have a much easier time clearing those objectives, clearing the safeguard robot. It's just going to be so nice having all of that ammunition on an SMG that you can actually be super mobile with in a Ground War game in a Ground War game mode. Other great game modes, if you're not so fond of Ground War, CTF or Safeguard, they're very highly mobile, and you can really spawn trap very, very well in these 2 game modes. So that's going to be a thing that we're going to talk about in just a couple seconds about this Weevil. It's going to be one of your main kind of play styles that you're going to want to go to with this is spawn trapping the hell out of the enemy team. So let's actually talk about class builds right now. Let's jump right into it. So when it comes to class builds, with this Weevil, you have one of 2 options in my opinion. You've got the mobility and stealth perk and playstyle, or you have the stationary and defensive perk and playstyle class build. So for mobility perks and playstyle, you'll want to use things like Afterburner, Ghost, I think it's called Afterburner, the one that makes you boost a lot more. I don't know, I can't remember the names of perks in this game. Afterburner, Ghost, Fast Hands, and Blast Suppressor. With this build, you want to actually run into the enemy spawn as fast as you can. That's what you have those mobility like Afterburner. You can wall run and just keep yourself mobile. Run into the enemy spawn as fast as you can. Right off your spawn at the beginning of the game, run into their spawn. You always have to be keeping an eye on the minimap. You got to know where your enemy spawns are because this class build is really all about spawn trapping the enemy. You're going to want to get them into a nice tight corner in the back of the map and then just use your extended ammo count to just keep blasting them back. Keep blasting them back. Don't let them get out of that back corner. Don't let them get out of their spawn. So CTF and Safeguard are 2 great game modes for this where the spawn won't just flip the second you get into the enemy zone. Unless your entire team is in the enemy zone, it won't flip. So as long as you and maybe 1 or 2 other people are rushing the enemy spawn, you can really spawn trap them very, very well with the Weevil. The second class perk build-up, or class build with perks is the defensive perks. So as far as defensive perks go, Flak Jacket, Tac Mask, Awareness, and Sixth Sense can all be very, very helpful. So you're going to want to use this kind of class build to lock down an area, get into a nice snuggly corner, and aim at a door. I'm not joking you. This is 100% terrible, awful. We hate all of these people that do this camper mode. Except it's going to be really awesome with the Weevil because you don't even have to kill the enemies that are coming towards you. You just have to block them off of that area, especially if you're playing competitively, if you're playing and you're really trying to win the game and you're not really concerned about your kills. You can use this class and this weapon to get into a nice corner, block off an entire lane of the map just by aiming at a door with this weapon. You can scare people away, especially in game modes like hardcore with this weapon because you have so much ammo. You don't even need to kill the enemies that are coming through that door. You can just keep shooting at the door and they won't challenge you. So that's what's really great about this weapon. It's got so much ammo, you can just sit there at a door, aim down your sights, and just keep firing. Whenever you see your Sixth Sense go off, whenever you use your awareness and you hear enemies coming, just start shooting at the door, shoot a couple bullets, and people will usually back off. And that can really help your team for capturing objectives and other stuff like that. Now, let's finally talk about specialists and attachments. You can choose a specialist based on your playstyle, or you can go an entirely different route with this weapon. So because the Weevil is so average in pretty much every category, you can take an average specialist as well. You don't need to specialize your specialist to kind of be the yin to your weapon's yang. You can really make your specialist anything you want in this situation. My personal recommendations are for you to try out the Hive, Combat Focus, War Machine, or Tempest. The part you've all been waiting for, let's talk about attachments. You can strap in and severely upgrade one part of this weapon to make it really great at one thing, such as adding rapid fire, extended mags, laser sight, and fast mags, and then just spraying and praying all over the map. Or you can kind of keep the weapon a jack of all trades. That's what I like to do. If there's one thing I dislike about the Weevil, it's that it's got a pretty slow reload speed for the size of the magazine. So on the Weevil Decimator, which you're seeing gameplay of in today's video, I've equipped fast mags as well as 2 really nice quality of life attachments, grip and quick draw, that I just like to put on all my guns. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something a little bit about the Weevil. Hopefully you're trying it out. It's not a very popular weapon, probably just because it's so average, but I do like it. I think it's still a really good weapon for pub smashing. Maybe not competitive play as much, but it is a really great weapon, and I do suggest you try it out. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Tell me how you like to run the Weevil in the comment section down below. Subscribe for more daily gaming goodness, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.